Hi all, this is Skate, and we are back in an M48 Patton. Now, it hasn't been too long since I last did an M48 Patton video. That was more of a breakdown on the tank, and basically how I like playing it. This isn't too dissimilar, except for the fact that this is more about spotting as a medium tank, and that encompasses some of the pros and cons of using a Patton to do that. Which, as I ranted and raved about in the previous video, is that turret. And you'll see why with the amount of bounces we produce in this one section of the map. These three games are played back to back. They were from this weekend, I think, but all three of them are straight back to back. The third one isn't really about spotting damage, but considering they were three back to back, I just thought I would include it. But yeah, using a medium tank to spot at tier 10 is something a lot of people are going to be sitting there right now saying, well, it's a medium tank, what a stupid thing to point out. However, you would be surprised how many, actually no you wouldn't, you play the same game. You know how many medium tanks don't end up trying to spot for the team. I got a comment though, just before we carry on, look how many bounces we have produced. It is ridiculous. And it's part of the reason this is one of my big fat favourite medium tanks, because it is a big fat medium tank, but it has a monster turret and good view range. But yeah, regardless, what I want to talk about mostly is spotting. It is something we all see so many medium tanks not doing for their team, or not doing enough of for their team. And it's such a simple key skill which can make a battle straight away. You may not even do staggering amounts of damage because of that, because you're busy trying to hide yourself and pop out and spot things. Yet, it does make all the difference. And to do it, you've obviously got to be aggressive, which is why I like taking something like a Patton, because I feel very confident in the turret. And you can see we're pushing up. We spotted that T-57. He's just taken a huge chunk of damage. Leo disappeared, but not quick enough. And we did manage to finish him off. But most of those other tanks we spotted, and on top of that, that's the first bit of damage we received, even though we were playing aggressively and spotting, because we were playing aggressively and spotting while using the strongest part of our tank, or using the strongest features of our tanks. I'm surprised that shot hit, by the way. But yeah, because we had so many hit points left from that first engagement, I was happy to go across from cover to cover, take any shots which may have come my way, because we saved them by using the tank correctly earlier on. And by pushing across there, it means I lit up those tanks because they shot at me and we caught them with our view range, and it meant I got more damage, or more assistance damage via spotting. Which means, for only 3,800 damage, we had obviously the steel wall because we had a tremendous amount of bounces, but we had a mastery for 3,800 damage. Now 3,800 damage is good, but is it really mastery level? No, it's not. Not without 2,957's worth of assistance damage. And this is part of the reason why I enjoy playing tanks so aggressively, because it's an attribute that you can take advantage of, which so many people don't take advantage of. And yeah, you could sit and argue and say, I've got a team of potatoes, they're going to be useless regardless what happens. Yeah, that could happen. However, if they don't know where to spot or where to point their guns and shoot, they're going to be even worse. So, rather than just assume by looking at the team and just deciding they're potatoes, get a spot for them. This map is a prime example. So many times I've been in a slow heavy tank or a tank destroyer, and I've pushed this spot because someone on my team in a medium tank has not, and I can guarantee that's something nearly every single person watching this video has seen as well. And if you haven't seen it, it's probably you. Now, in all seriousness, it makes such a difference, and it can be something which is beneficial to you because you can point the team to where they need to go. Now you'll notice I'm being very cautious here, and I've swapped sides of the dune, and I'm using the rock on my left hand side because there are Death Stars which I have not spotted yet. So I'm trying to creep while keeping as much cover as I can on my left hand side, because we all know That's a common place for the Death Star to go, and I've mentioned this in another video as well. In fact, I'm pretty sure there are 2 other videos where I have Jaegeru video. Not Jaegeru, Jagdtiger. I made a Jagdtiger video, and I'm 99% sure in that there is a Death Star in the same position, and possibly even my Leo video in the past. But that is a common place for the Death Star to go. Right by there, waiting for a medium to pop up here. If you predict it, preempt it, and just assume it's there if it's not unspotted, it can go such a difference in your favour. Even if he's not there, we're covered, which means we're a really, really hard target. If he's going to hit anywhere near us, there's one Death Star. Where's the other one? We're hidden by here, but that is definitely a Hesh round, which has just clipped our tank. Technically, we're very, very lucky it didn't hit the side of the turret, but I don't think it could have reached the side of the turret, because if you look where it hit just at the very back of the track. And because where we've positioned ourselves preemptive, assuming that's where one of the Death Stars will be, or that's where we thought they would be at the start, look how much cover we have to protect us from that side. But the key thing here is, we're spotting so much for the team. And if you're not a team player, or you don't care about spotting for the team because you don't want to help them because you've had enough of people ruining your game by you having a really, really good game and somebody not, well, do it for selfish reasons, and do it because it's more than likely going to increase your chances of winning, and you could then argue you inadvertently help your team for selfish reasons. Personally, I'd rather argue that you're improving your win rate chances, you're improving your team's chances, and it's just doing better overall. Your team are now being team players by shooting the things you spot for them without even realising. This isn't something restricted to just tier 10 as well. Check out that shot, by the way. Sorry, really pleased with that one. But yeah, this isn't something restricted to just tier 10. In fact, mediums not spotting isn't as common at tier 10. You see it more often than you would in, say, tier 8, tier 7, and so on and so forth. But it is still something which is prominent. Mediums not spotting. Mediums staying behind the big tank destroyers, because the enemy has big tank destroyers. So from that perspective, people don't want to get shot in their medium tanks. However, this is why I like the Patton so much. It is perfect in that scenario up there with that turret and its gun depression to take advantage of the spot. But you can still do it in other tanks. T-62A, things like that. You can get up to that spot and you can spot. You can't use your gun in response because you don't have the gun depression. But you can most certainly take advantage of the fact that you have the mobility and a view range to get up there and do that very, very quickly. So in this game, we did 3,100 damage, but again, over 2,500 assistance damage, which is via the spotting. And here's the other key thing. By pushing up very, very early, you can get yourself into positions to throw the enemy off guard. For example, where we got up very, very early in that one, we managed to spot them as they were still trying to get to positions, which means my team not only knew where they were going to go, we caught them off guard, which means you can delete several of them or get more damage done to them very quickly, very early on, which again throws it in your favour. And like I said at the start of the video, I know for a fact a lot of people are going to be watching this thinking, well, this is all common sense, it's a medium tank, it's kind of what you need to do, what are you on about? But there's going to be a lot of people who don't think about that. If we all thought the same and played all the same, everybody would be 50%. Every match would be boring, and it doesn't matter what tank you're in, we'd all get bored. So with that in mind, I'm not necessarily too agitated by the fact that mediums don't spot. It bugs the hell out of me, I'm not gonna lie, it really does annoy me, because you need something to spot for you, especially if you're in a big slow tank destroyer with little to no armor. Or they have a medium tank which intends on spotting you. They will spot you while you're trying to prepare and trying to get into positions and drive up. So, as a medium, you can counter that and spot them earlier so they don't spot your team. So there are many ways this does benefit and it does help out. I mentioned this at the start, but just to reconfirm, this last one doesn't really have any spotting damage in it. It was just a good game and it was interesting, and because it was back-to-back with the others, I thought I would include it. Now here's a key point I thought I'd point out as well. I know there's tanks on my right-hand side, so I'm using this ridge to give me extra gun depression, to shoot at that tank, while avoiding anything from my right hand side, because I could stick out to shoot that tank using the gun depression of the actual tank, and I'm exposed completely to all these tanks, including one being a Death Star. So using that ridge to give me the extra gun depression, again, a very simple thing, but it goes a long way in trying to preserve those hit points. And although we're not spotting, we are still effective in this position. We have two mediums on one side of us who are friendlies, and we've kind of got a bit of a pincer movement going with the T-54 and the Jagdtiger on the enemy team. But then we can see this guy's coming back as well. Now, if I stayed with the other guys on my team on the far right, well, we'd all be into one huddle. They'd all be coming one direction. The beauty of us being in separate directions is we can, again, get cross shots on them. Sadly, my team are starting to dwindle at this point, which is why I'm being very, very, very cautious, and I know those tanks are on the right now. So I want to deal with this T-54 while trying to be as cautious as possible and constantly keeping an eye on what's going on behind me. Which is when I notice him and I decide I need to go, because I'd rather take one shot off this T-54 than I would off that Jagdpanzer E100. And being as it is just me and the E100 on my team left, priority is not to sit in the open. I need to preserve those hit points and get everything covered except for, well, the turret, because in this sort of position I am very, very strong, and in this sort of position we have a pincer maneuver on the go. Again, however, the E100 on my team is very, very low health, so I'm trying to keep that E100 away from my friendly one and whittle him down in the process. And you'll notice I'm trying my best to go for track shots to try and keep him in position and away from my team. Sadly, I don't think I did enough in this battle. I should have been a little bit more aggressive, I think, and I should have pushed that little bit earlier. Now, if I pushed all the way out, I would have been completely exposed and it would have been a completely dead game, and I would have done considerably less anyway. However, I could have taken some heat away from the rest of the players on my team. Or, rather than sit in that position and try and get side shots in, I could have done more earlier on to get closer to that friendly 100, so at least I could be some form of distraction, or try and help that E100 on my team just a little bit more. So watching this back, I know where I screwed up on that one. And now I need to get one of these tanks gone, which is why you'll notice I'm just at the point where I'm like, right, nearly out of time. I need to get some good penetrating rounds in to finish this Jagdpanzer E100. I kind of screw up my shots though, which again is down to me rushing and not waiting, and that Jaegeru knows what he's doing. He was angling very, very, very well and wiggling very, very well. So fair play to the enemy Jaegeru E100. He was a good player. It did mean we lost though. That last one was 6,226 damage, and it was sadly a loss. And the first thing I'm going to do is give a thumbs up to that guy, because he did say hello. I didn't have a chance to say hello back, so as a hello. But yeah, we only got 481 assistance damage in that one, but we did still spot 3 enemy tanks. But that's it for this video, guys. Bit of a ramble. Obviously did it in the Patton, which is like pretty much, it is my favourite medium tank now. So yeah, video slightly off variation to what I usually do. Usually it's a video focusing on the details of one specific tank. This is more about focusing down and helping your team with spotting, but encompasses some M48 Patton in the process. I do already have that M48 Patton review guide thing on the channel, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out. I really, really like this tank, and I would strongly recommend this tank to anybody. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.